The hospital where the Duchess of Cambridge is being treated has apologised after giving information about her to hoax callers. Australian radio DJs posed as the Queen and Prince Charles and managed to speak to a nurse who's looking after Kate. The radio station says it's sorry for any inconvenience it's caused. Our royal correspondent Simon Vigar is outside the King Edward VII Hospital for us in central London. So what happened, Simon?
Hi Emma. Well, a couple of pranksters from a radio station in Australia got through. The hospital has apologised, saying it deeply regrets what happened. And they can hardly blame the nurse because she was given a call in the middle of the night and told that it was the Queen on the other end. How did the radio station do it? They just phoned the switchboard. He arrived for day 3 at the hospital, only wanting to see his wife, although the chief executive may have been offering apologies too. And this is why.
Numbers going in. Oh, jeez, I hope this happens.
A prank call by an Australian radio station.
Hello, good morning, King Edward VII Hospital.
Oh, hello there. Could I please speak to Kate, please, my granddaughter?
Oh, yes, just hold on.
Thank you.
The accents were poor, but nowhere near as bad as the screening process.
Are they putting us through?
Yes.
If this has worked, it's the easiest prank call we've ever made.
We are not going to play the parts concerning Kate's medical condition, but they get through to the nurse, who's been told she's speaking to the Queen and Prince Charles.
Hello, I'm just after my granddaughter Kate. I want to see how her little tummy bug is going.
Mummy? She's sleeping at the moment.
Ken Wharf used to be the Scotland Yard bodyguard for Princess Diana and William and Harry. He told me it's a shocking error.
Any communication coming in should come via the police officer in this particular case, the protection officer, and later, I dare say now, there is somebody appointed or representing the royal family from Buckingham Palace or St James's Palace, as the case may be. But certainly, no phone call should be taken from members of the public, whether they, imitate any other one person, but they should not. They should be stopped there and dealt with by the designated person.
The King Edward VII Hospital said it deeply regrets the lapse.
Technically, I think this was a breach of patient confidentiality, which I very much regret. Having said that, the information which was inadvertently revealed is already in the public domain. I think this whole thing is pretty deplorable. Our nurses are caring, professional people trained to look after patients, not to cope with journalistic trickery of this sort.
No prank callers at the hospital this afternoon, just family. Pippa and James Middleton have been to see their big sister. And just after 5 o'clock, Prince William left the hospital to the usual blizzard of flashbulbs. Simon Vigar, 5 News.
Well, joining me now in the studio is the former press secretary to the Queen, Dickie Arbiter, and live from Sydney is Edwina Bartholomew from Channel 7 News. Great to have you both on the programme tonight. Dickie, let's start with you. What do you make of this story?
Well, it's a phone call that should never have got through. In the first place. Secondly, the Queen doesn't make telephone calls. She usually gets the switchboard, and that's the way it's done. The switchboard get through to the party that's being called, and when the switchboard have established contact, they then put the Queen through. I mean, everybody knows it's been said time and time again. At the time that late Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, was alive, and the Queen phoned her mother, the switchboard would say, "Your Majesty, Her Majesty is on the line for you," and then they would be put through. So the fact that it actually got through to the switchboard operator, she should have been, a bit suspicious. There are enough policemen around, and when in doubt, ask. Plenty of people to ask.
You'd be unlikely to be calling at midnight as well, knowing Her Majesty is at 8:02. But let's chat to Edwina now. What's the reaction been over there to this prank call, Edwina?
Oh, Emma, I think opinion will be divided here between those who applaud these Aussie larrikins and those who think it's a bit disrespectful. In defence of Mel Gregg and Michael Christian from Sydney's 2dayFM, I don't think they even thought they were going to get through. The fact that they got their producer to impersonate a corgi is testament to that. This call was pre-recorded. They did have it run past lawyers, and they have since apologised, saying, quote, the radio segment was done with the best intentions, that they thought, given their terrible accents, and you heard a bit of those in that report, that they had no chance of anyone believing that they would be the Queen and Prince Charles.
And that's the point, isn't it, Dickie? This really was meant to be a bit of fun, wasn't it?
It was meant to be a bit of fun, but if you're going to have a bit of fun, don't phone a hospital where somebody is lying in bed with acute morning sickness and really suffering. You know, it's just the wrong thing to do. You know, there have been hoax calls in the past. There was a hoax call by a Canadian DJ to the Queen in '95, and they spoke for about 15 minutes. He even tried to get her to record a message. He then was impersonating the then Prime Minister Jean Chrétien, and it was only after 15 minutes that they suddenly realised that, hey, this is not genuine.
And Edwina, I mean, Dickie's right, isn't he? It's never a good idea to pester anyone in hospital, regardless of how famous you are. Do you think now they realise their mistake, they're eating humble pie?
Well, I don't think they ever thought this was going to make international headlines, that's for sure. This is a show called the Hot 30 Countdown. It's a demographic for teenagers. Surely the listeners of the show thought it was quite entertaining. The wider population, maybe not. So I think the sincere apology issued in their statement indicates how sorry they actually are. As I said, I don't think they ever thought they were going to get through. This has certainly made a name for them, but perhaps not the one that they had hoped for.
And what do you think William and Kate make of all this, Dickie?
I think they'd be pretty angry, the fact that somebody did call and the nurse on duty actually gave out medical details. I mean,
really her fault,
you just do not give medical details over the telephone. You give them in person, and the person that you know, not somebody on a telephone.
Edwina, it's not the first time, is it, the Australian media upset the royal couple. Do you think that things are viewed differently over where you are, that privacy is maybe not rated as highly as it may be in this country?
I think, Emma, here with the royal family, we treat this more as a celebrity story. Certainly Kate and Will are on the front pages of a lot of our gossip magazines, and although the baby news here was certainly big news, there's not that same reverence and respect for the privacy of the royal family as you do have in the UK. So I don't think that would have even come into the minds of these radio DJs when they made this call. They're not journalists, they're radio DJs from a commercial radio station. So I think there's a line between that. Certainly you wouldn't find any Australian journalists making this same call at midnight to the hospital.
OK, well, it's got the front story, hasn't it? That's for sure. Edwina, thank you very much. And Dickie Arbiter, as ever, thank you very much for your time.